Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Deep Focus Show. My name's Clay.
I'm Aidan.
I'm Taavi.
Today, we're going to be talking about the movie Artificial Intelligence, directed by Steven Spielberg, coined the story coined by Stanley Kubrick. I've never seen this movie before. It's my first watch of it. Saw it about a week ago. And before I give my thoughts, I want to know what did you guys briefly think about it?
Yeah, first watch for me too. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll get to it in my thoughts, but like it seems very different from a lot of the movies that we've been going through. Like it seems like a pretty big jump from like Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan to this. And not necessarily even like quality, I'm saying, but just like the whole approach. Like it does still kind of feel like a Kubrick movie in the sense of like it kind of has the like almost like icy tone that you get in so many Kubrick movies as opposed to like the more like I guess like gooey, sugary Spielberg magic, you know?
Yeah, I can see that for sure. First watch for me too. Was excited because, well, it was supposed to be a Kubrick film, but now we're getting a Spielberg version of it. I can,
Plug, I do want to say we did rank Stanley Kubrick movies like 3 years
yeah,
ago. It's up on our YouTube channel if you guys want to watch that.
Our
Um,
first episode pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah. Way back
yeah.
in 2022, I think.
Back when I was still in high school.
Wow, wow. Aidan, you want
So
to kick us off, or Tavi? Tavi, you can go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, no problem. Um, so yeah, AI movie about an android who wants to be loved and wanting to become a human. So his mother will completely accept him. And there's like this quest of him trying to find the blue fairy from Pinocchio with this other character helping him, Cicelo Joe, played by Jude Law. I don't know, I found this movie pretty interesting, the whole setting and the kind of futuristic uh, vibe going on and well, of course, the Haley Joel Osment is placed the little child android David, and yeah, despite not being a human, there's a lot of human elements that he goes through, and we as an audience find an relatable stuff going on. Basically, the wanting to be loved part by his parents and but stuff happens, and his parents, Monica and Henry, I want to say, decides to, I don't know what's the word, ditch him. And there's like this heartbreaking scene at this like forest type of setting, and really I feel like most of the heavy work is done by Haley Joel Osment. I think that the whole performance is really great, and but this film, I do agree it has a bit of a different tone than a lot of Spielberg movies we've done with the iciness sort of and but I still think it has that Spielberg magic a little bit, like especially that ending with the Monica bringing back Monica, and that scene is very heartwarming. And I also really like the all the Manhattan scenes where there's just plenty of water and the scene when David discovers that there's lots of Davids built and he's not just the one unique uh, product or what he thinks of himself, but there's like probably thousands or millions Davids out there, or used to be, I don't know. But yeah, I don't have much negatives here. I think this is a great movie. I think it's visually very effective. I think that CGI in this is pretty good, and Also like the little Teddy character. He looks pretty convincing too, all his movements. Great acting, like I said, music's great, of course. It has a lot of themes and it handles them quite well all around. Yeah, maybe at first when I saw like oh when there's like I thought it's gonna be the ending when David and Teddy finds the blue fairy or the sort of blue fairy. I thought that's gonna be the ending, but it's not. And then we see like this called specialist advanced AIs come, and I was for sure like, oh, we're bringing aliens or something, okay, but they're not, and I was like, is George Lucas writing this or what is going on? But like, uh, but they're not like these Spielberg aliens, but they just look like them a little bit. But I would have been happy with the Blue Fairy ending, but I'm also pretty happy with that bringing in like the Monica for one last day. Maybe it's a little ridiculous in some ways, but I don't know. This is a science fiction film. I don't know. Does it matter? But yeah. To me, this is a 4.5. I'm really digging this movie.
Wow, 4.5. Wasn't expecting that. So this is an interesting movie. Yeah, it's a really interesting movie. It's really interesting to see this futuristic setting in an early 2000s vision. Um, the main character is a robot child played by me. No, I'm kidding. It's played by Haley Joel Osment. A lot of people say I look like him. But yeah, he's a robot child. He's given to the parents of Henry and Monica Swinton, played by Frances O'Connor and Sam Robards. Their other child is kind of in a state of suspended animation, but he comes back. The beginning of the movie starts a little bit creepy. I think, Haley Joel Osment, he can be a little bit creepy whenever he wants to be. He has these really curious eyes, and um, he's an interesting character. But their other child comes back, Martin, played by Jake Thomas. There's an unsettling scene when Martin provoked David into eating spinach, um, and things kind of go awry. He's like antagonizing him to the point where his parents don't want to be their parents anymore. Yeah, this mother just kind of leaves Haley Joel Osment out in the woods. Which is take and then the movie takes an interesting turn. I like that in this movie there's like a futuristic, almost steampunk kind of carnival sequence, which I enjoy. David ends up with the robot prostitute played by Jude Law, who is without a doubt one of my favorite things in this movie. You get other characters or other actors who lend their voice here, like Robin Williams. He kind of plays like a Wizard of Oz slash fortune teller type of character. But that whole scene is ridiculously funny. It's one of my favorites in the movie. And they're asking him questions, and they have a certain amount of points uh, to to obtain. Like they can't. There's a limit on the questions that they can ask. But to me, this movie kind of feels incredibly outdated. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to care for an artificial intelligent being. There's exposition about the spirit of humans at the end of the movie, and I feel like it's just driving home a moral point that I'm not exactly buying. I feel like the ending is overly more moralistic, attempting to teach a lesson about love and humanity that doesn't quite resonate with me. In the first, the second, and the third act have completely different vibes, making it overall a very disjointing kind of watch. Probably because it attempts to blend Kubrick's philosophical coldness with Spielberg's warmness, and it comes across very odd. But the cinematography is great and fantastic. I love the lighting at the end of the movie. But overall, it's a three-star film for me. It wasn't my favorite. I had a lot. I wasn't exactly sure what I was expecting with this movie. And I will say what it has going for it is that it did its job at making it an unpredictable watch because it's not exactly at all like I was expecting. But it just feels disjointed to me. So 3 stars.
Interesting. I think I'm a little bit in the middle of your two thoughts. I was just looking over my notes and kind of trying to collect what I was going to say, and I think, well, first of all, I want to say, um, in regards to your last point, Clay, it's interesting because when I was doing reading on the film, the thing that I was kind of surprised by is that most of the more like sentimental elements are from Kubrick's drafts of the script, and the like weirder kind of darker stuff is actually Spielberg's stuff that he added. So you get something kind of interesting where both filmmakers who like had a say in the film are kind of playing against type, so to speak. Like the stuff that you'd expect to be Spielberg is Kubrick's stuff and vice versa. But in that sense, I think this is kind of a hard film for me to rate and like kind of talk about because with a film like a lot of the ones we've been talking about recently, like Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, it's like there's a very clear they have a very clear vision and they execute it, and it's like you're what you're really rating is the execution of that vision. I think I gave all of those movies 5 stars because I was like, it's clear what they're going for. They execute it so well, bingo. With this, it's like it is more like a lot of Kubrick's movies where it's like you were watching, 2001 or The Shining or Eyes Wide Shut, and you're kind of thinking like, well, I don't quite know what the like if I had to summarize it in the way that you could a movie like Jaws or Jurassic Park. So it's hard to rate this one compared to the previous Spielberg films, I find. I do find the central like story and the characters compelling in terms of like asking these questions, and it's especially prescient now in the age of like AI, everything is AI now, to have this film that kind of explores that. But it's just like there are elements where it's like I can't decide whether they are actually like bad choices or like intentional in a way to like tell the story. Like something I think about is like the very first scene where the guy, it's like the conference kind of thing, and he's like basically spelling out what the movie's about. Like he's like this is like he's giving the thesis of the film, and I can't decide if a choice like that is like just like kind of bad writing or if it's like secretly kind of genius because it's like telegraphing the schematic of the story, and then the rest of the movie is us like seeing how what we're seeing maps onto like that. So there's like elements like that that make it kind of hard to judge. But what I will say is that I'm gonna give this movie like 4 stars because I think the emotional power of the main narrative was, strong for me. But I do think it's a movie that on a rewatch I could either go, wow, this is like an incredible. I know people, I know someone, one of my friends is her favorite Spielberg movie, which is, I wouldn't go that far, but I get that perspective. Like it's going for a lot. So I could see myself watching this again and going, oh, this is a 5 star movie. But I think I could also see myself watching it again and being like, a lot of these like kind of narrative choices that I gave a kind of nervous stamp of approval the first time around, I'm not so much feeling, and I could see it going down. But as of right now, I think 4 stars because I think the kind of uneven execution is offset by the sheer kind of emotional resonance of the story, which I really appreciated.
That is really interesting. I guess if you told me which parts were Kubrick and which were Spielberg's, it would be not what I was expecting. Kind of a yin and yang sort of element. Um, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes because there were some things like I'm trying to find. Yeah, I could give it to you later, but
okay,
it's mostly just like that the kind of this it's mostly just like the stuff that's weird was like Spielberg's editions because he got this draft from Kubrick of like the script and he found it that it was very like sentimental, unlike his previous films. And he was, I think maybe he felt some kind of pressure to like weirdify it, to like conform with like what he thought, that approach was.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk, because like Kubrick has just passed away, and like Spielberg is now gonna like bring his story to the masses, and but I feel like this time, like with this and Minority Report, and it's like cool, like almost like risks that uh Spielberg is doing and trying out different things, and even like remaking War of the Worlds, and it'll be interesting next episodes for this series.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really excited for Minority Report. I really enjoyed it last time I watched it. Spoiler. But
Yeah, me too. I
I
think we're entering a kind of weird era of
we are.
Spielberg. Like
Yeah.
the 90s was like had a very kind of consistent like ethos and like approach, even if the movies themselves were very different. Whereas I think we're now entering a series of films that feel like they could have very much come from different directors.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and you have some really like basic movies like The Terminal and like safer movies in some ways. And
Yeah.
you have
Andrew will be joining us for Catch Me If You Can. It's been on the agenda for a
yep.
while.
Yeah. Well, no, we're actually very close. Only one more and then we'll be there. So
Yep. Yep.
you never thought we'd get there, but we persevered.
Sure did. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you think about this movie in the comments,
Yep.
and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.